On this episode of Small Town Gen X.
My mom used to tell me, and I was like, is this true or not? Is she just trying to make me feel better? But she used to say that lice liked clean hair. So that's why
they liked you.
It liked me. I was like, maybe. I don't know.
I think it was a lie.
I think
I think she was trying to make you feel better.
And be like, because you're not dirty. I don't know.
Yeah, I think she was lying to you.
Hello and welcome to the podcast Small Town Gen X.
We're two friends that grew up together in a small town who happen to be cousins. Can't get any more small town than that.
Who have a bunch of stories to tell you. I'm Kate.
And I'm Launa. We are pretty excited to be recording our first episode of our new podcast.
So since it's our first episode, we thought we would bring it back to 1984.
84.
Yes, and this isn't the year that we were born.
No.
But it was the year that we went to first grade.
Right.
We skipped kindergarten. Because we had done a bunch of research on 1984 and then realized we went to kindergarten in 1983. So the research we did, Lana, do you want to tell us a little bit about what was the most popular movie?
Oh, the most popular movie in 1984. I have about 4 of them. 16 Candles.
Oh, I love that one.
Still my favorite.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I doubt I watched it in 1984, but
I probably didn't either. I feel like we probably watched it together at some point at someone's house.
Yes. And Gremlins.
I know. And My Little Gizmo.
Yeah,
named after Gremlins.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Another fun. I mean, we didn't watch it in 1984.
Again, no. But I know I watched scary movies like that at way younger than I should have. I feel like now we're so much like, oh, you can't watch that. Like, you're too...
Right.
We were, I feel like I was watching stuff like this with my dad.
Oh, my parents, I think, whatever year Poltergeist came out... I watched it and I was scared to death. So I don't think my parents should have allowed one.
You that.
No. Still scares me.
That one is scary. We'll have to talk about that later on.
Yeah.
About that's kind of a fun one in our later years too.
And then one of our favorites, Children of the Corn.
Of course, we're Nebraskans.
That's right.
Yeah, and corn. It's a little scary.
It is scary.
If you're just out there, you never know. Someone could just
be out there,
pop out there.
You could get lost.
You can. That's probably would be actually more what would happen to us.
Right.
Than like a serial killer getting us in the corn. Yeah, and if you aren't from Nebraska, like we are, or like Midwest, they even do like corn mazes.
Right.
And you pay.
You pay to get lost.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to pay.
No, I don't either. I panic.
Yeah, I would totally panic, and you couldn't even actually pay me to do it.
No.
So song-wise, my favorite, that when we saw this one on the list, was Like a Virgin.
Yes. We were virgins in 1984.
We were. So we could relate to the song.
We could relate to the song, yes.
And then I think this one is so catchy. I still love it. Is Wake Me Up Before You Go Go.
Yes.
It's kind of a fun little.
It is. I think we danced to that at on Just Dance.
Oh, yes.
I think that was one of them.
Oh,
so
I bet.
That's,
that would be a good one for Just Dance.
Yeah.
Well, and the fun of toys, these were like really great. Like when we were looking at this list, I was like, these are like iconic toys.
Mm-hmm.
My Little Pony was my fave.
Yes, I liked My Little Pony.
What was your favorite?
My favorite was probably Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yeah.
I had 4 or 5 of them, I think.
I can see. Yeah. It's always so funny where it'd be, I don't know why, but I have dark hair and I'd always want blonde. Cabbage Patches.
Yeah. My first one was a redhead.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know. I think I had every color hair. I don't think it was just a certain one. I think I had a blonde. I had a bald.
I had a bald.
It was
preemie.
Preemie.
Yes, I had a preemie.
Yes.
Did the preemie, was it totally bald or did it have like a little
some of them had a tuft. Some of them had a tuft, but the preemies I don't think had the hair.
Oh, okay.
I think the preemies were completely bald, and then there were some that just had a little tuft of hair, and some that had the pigtails and the braids.
Oh, yes.
And all that.
Yeah.
So
I did love those.
Yeah.
And I know they would always say, like, don't take them out of the box. It was like,
right. Well,
what?
Yeah.
Well, and also on that list was Rainbow Bright, G.I. Joe, Transformers, just a name. Oh, and Barbie.
Right, and Barbie.
You did not play with Barbie.
Nope, I wasn't a Barbie kid.
You know what I had was it Barbie and the Rockers? I had like a...
There was Gem.
There was Gem, and I didn't have Gem. Gem and the hologram?
Yes, Barbie and the Rockers.
And then it was Barbie and the Rockers, and I remember having the stage, and you moved, like, you put them in these little slots, and then you...
Moved them around, and they moved like, on the
danced.
stage. No.
I had that. That was probably
I did not.
And the only other thing I really remember about Barbie is my brother got mad at me once, and he took the Ken and threw it against the wall, and his head popped off. Those are my memories of Barbie.
Those were your memories of Barbie. Yeah. I don't have any. I mean, I have of going to people's houses and playing with them.
Oh, sure.
Yes. But I never had. I didn't want them at my.
You didn't want them for yourself.
For myself. Yeah. So, I mean, we shared a lot of toys. We also shared a lot of lice.
We did. That was a good segue.
Because I mean, I think a lot of times lice were on those toys, and we took them over to friends' houses.
Yes.
And then it just spread.
Well, and I've heard, and maybe, that they can jump like 20 feet.
Right.
So if you are in a classroom of little kids all sitting pretty close to each other, like, can like pull each other's hair from like the back.
Right.
If someone has it, everyone's probably gonna get it. And I know, we would have our nurse would have to come in and
give us
do a little check.
Head lice check.
And then you would know that kid would get called. Yeah. And that kid was usually me.
Not me.
I would have to be like, yep, got lice. Yes. I remember one time for the first time I ever got lice was kindergarten. And I had like taken a long time to grow out my hair, and I've like still have really thick hair, and I can remember like it was torture trying to grow it. When you're growing your hair out, it's a lot.
It's in your face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finally, it was like great, whatever. I'll have to show you that school picture, and then I got lice, and Mom could not did those treatments, like 2 or 3. They would not get out of my hair. And so she practically shaved my head.
Oh no.
And I'll show you the before and the after. Before lice
and after lice.
Yeah. Do you remember those combs? What was that stuff called? I don't even know. What was that stuff you get for lice? The treatment.
I know what it's like. It's like 3 letters or something.
Yeah,
like that.
It's very simple.
I can't remember.
And you got the little treatment stuff, and then you had a comb to make sure you got it.
Yes.
Got it all. So that I feel like lice is kind of like if you were an 80s kid. I don't even hear about lice anymore.
No. And our school was so small.
Right.
It was like your whole class did get lice.
Yes.
Basically, if one person had it, everybody had it.
Right. Yep.
So.
My mom used to tell me, and I was like, is this true or not? Is she just trying to make me feel better? But she used to say that lice liked clean hair. So that's why
they liked you.
It liked me. I was like, maybe. I don't know.
I think it was a lie.
I think...
I think she was trying to make you feel better.
And be like, because you're not dirty. I don't know.
Yeah, I think she was lying to you.
So, yeah, I'm glad that those days are past us.
Yes.
I was just thinking about, and this would, again, I know we kind of talked about more first grade, but I am going to throw in kindergarten as our first episode. Do you remember how at our school, our like kindergarten, we had our own little like playground area?
Yes.
Like you weren't with all the other kids.
Right.
You weren't with the general pop.
You weren't with the first, second, third graders.
No.
You were by yourself in that little area.
Yeah. It's small.
Yes. I think they had like 3 horses
yes.
that you rocked on, and we would rock those things all the way to the ground.
Yes. Yes. And were they metal or they were plastic?
Were.
I feel like they might have been metal.
I think they were
then.
Metal.
Yeah.
I think they were metal.
I used to love those, and they were kind of like by the fence. Like
yes.
You were just right there.
You were right there.
Was there any? What I remember is those. Was there like a jungle gym or something in there?
No, I don't think so.
Or was it just
those horses?
I think that's what I thought too, because I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I think it was only just to let us out since we were only half days.
Right.
Then it was so they probably thought, well, we're just gonna let the kindergartners in this little area.
Right.
There's probably 10, 12 of us.
A little bit more. Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I'm sure more.
Remember. Well, if you think
I'll have to look at my school picture.
Probably like 20, I would say 20 to, since we were split morning and afternoon.
Could be.
Yeah, people are gonna, if they listen to this, are gonna be like 20 people. Yeah. They probably are like, what? Like we graduated together with like I think it was like 59,
maybe
60, something like that. So and pretty much anyone that we had in kindergarten, first grade. Majority of it graduated together. So we were together for the long haul. Yep. We obviously had some kids come in.
Right. And some leave. But not very many left.
No. No. They loved they loved the small town life.
Yeah.
And that school is not there. It's weird.
No.
It's so weird. I tried to like tell. I know.
Build houses.
Was never there.
Yeah, it is.
Because when you think about it, there's other school buildings that are they're not the school buildings anymore, like North Ward.
Yeah. But it's there.
It's there.
Yeah. Civic Center was
a high school. So that's there. So it's, I mean, we know why it got torn down, wasn't it? Like full of like
asbestos.
I think that's
I'm sure.
But how come none of those other buildings were full of that?
I don't know.
That's what cracks me up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We get sent there, and it's full of asbestos.
You know what I remember, and every once in a while I think about this because I was thinking about because it's like the beginning of the school year. I was like, oh, it's so hot. I wonder if the kids have to get out of school and then I'm like early because of the heat.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh no,
they got air conditioning.
Yeah, we didn't even have air conditioning in our school.
Nope.
And it was so funny because they had it in the middle school, high school, but they still got out because of the bus.
Because of the buses.
Yeah.
And yes, we had buses. A lot of people don't have school buses that run.
Right.
It runs for the whole town or for the public school. I don't know about the Catholic school. If they do drop-offs in town, do they?
I believe they do. I know they have buses, but I'm not sure if it's just
usually
out
it's
of
out
town.
of town. Because I would say, I'm at the bus stop, and my husband would be like, bus stop? He's only from a town that's, it's not that big.
Right.
But
bigger than ours. Yeah.
And those were for the country kids.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, because I remember when we were in middle school, high school, and it wasn't that far to walk. But I would take the bus.
Yeah.
And it would take me to West Ward. And then I was only like 2 blocks from my house.
Yeah.
I never took the bus to school.
Yes,
my mom always took me, but I would take it.
I took it home. And I think my bus stop was 3 blocks from my house. So, yeah, it wasn't too far.
Yeah. I know that is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't even know some school, like if you're in a bigger city, I don't even know if maybe they do just have it for country, but I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I have no idea
how that all works. No. And it's funny because when you're like, wait a minute, that's how we grew up.
Right.
Isn't that how it all?
Yeah, isn't that how it is everywhere?
Right.
Nope.
Not at all. And my other favorite thing about our school was that our gym was also
lunchroom?
our lunchroom.
Yes.
I love that we're talking like we're saying the same thing together.
The gym lunchroom was also our recess when it was winter.
That's right. When it was raining.
Snow or raining.
Yes. Yeah. And then it was pretty nifty. The tables would go into the wall like a Murphy bed.
Yep.
A Murphy table.
Yep. They go in. Ralph.
Oh, Ralph. Yes.
Yeah.
Ralph.
Our janitor.
Ralph.
Yes. He always put him up and cleaned him off and put him back down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember you would I don't know how it was. Maybe it was based on your grades, but I remember helping Ralph clean the tables.
I think it was older
kids.
Yep.
Okay.
3rd, 4th, 5th maybe.
Okay.
I know 5th grade we used to serve food.
I remember that. Yeah.
So maybe 4th grade helped clean tables.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know why they would let us help serve.
I don't either.
I don't know if that was sanitary or not, but
yeah, I mean, did anybody else's schools do that? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. That's just
my husband, he never heard of such a thing. So,
no. Had he heard of such a thing as Crispito? I know you hate that, but I
Crispito.
Oh, I loved Crispito. I loved Crispito Day.
I loved Pizza Day.
Okay.
And Beef Pocket Day.
Just that.
I do.
Just Beef Pocket.
Beef Pocket Day. Oh, and Mr. Ribs.
Oh yeah, I
Ribs.
did like Mr. Rib. Yeah, I did. I did like Mr. Rib.
We did have good food at our school. So I mean,
we really did.
Yeah, we had some good
I didn't
cooks.
mind it.
No. Crispitos, but that was just already pre-made stuff probably. And it was just nasty.
I loved it.
I know.
I like making those. I loved chili.
Oh,
with a cinnamon roll. Yeah.
Yep.
Those were the best.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's funny because not everyone had school lunch that had chili and cinnamon roll together. People think that's weird.
They do think it's weird.
Yeah. I've talked to other people and they don't put why do you put those them together? And in my head that's what I think.
That's all I think too. I think chili cinnamon roll.
Yeah, that's what you have.
Alton Brown. I think he's
he's
he's the food guy, I believe. I mean, I don't. Yeah. Okay,
he's some food guy.
He was in Nebraska and he tried it.
Okay,
and he did not like it.
Well, I did hear that, and I heard that he actually dipped it.
Oh,
I didn't do that. Did you dip yours?
I dipped mine.
Okay.
And
you still like that?
I still like it. Yes.
I don't remember ever dipping it. Yep. I remember just having
it with it.
Yeah,
no, I dipped.
I don't know if it was just a dessert. You dipped.
I dipped.
Did you double dip?
I probably did.
Yes. Is it like that sweet savory? And do you still
do it?
I still do it. And now I'm gonna try it.
I still do it. Yeah, it's that spicy, a little bit of spice with that sweet cinnamon roll.
What I do know that you don't put in your chili is beans. I love beans.
Oh my god!
And
I don't like green beans. Oh my god, I hate beans.
Is there any bean that you like?
Just green.
Just green. Oh, I thought you said you didn't.
Oh, no,
green
just
beans.
green.
You like green beans.
Yeah, I'll eat green beans.
But nothing like a pinto.
No. A pork and bean, a pinto bean, a kidney bean, a wax bean. I remember my mother always used to make us eat wax beans, and I would cry. Do you know what a wax bean is?
The only reason I never really had heard of those, the only reason I know just in a few years is when we were going through COVID.
Yeah.
My boyfriend he did this thing called Wax Bean Wednesdays.
Why?
He only did it 2 weeks. So it didn't last. But he tried to make he would make different foods with wax beans, a different dinner with wax beans. That's the only reason. That didn't last long because it didn't really we didn't really like it.
No.
They're just because they look like green beans.
Except they're like,
but they're
yellow.
Yeah,
I don't know. They're disgusting.
They're dipped in wax.
They're dipped in wax, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea what a wax bean is.
Yeah,
but it's disgusting.
I'm gonna say I never grew up eating those.
And peas, I don't do peas.
Oh, I don't like peas. I take that back. I like peas in like a salad if they're like cold.
Oh,
in like some kind of salad,
right, like
a broccoli salad or something like that.
7-layer.
I do not give them to me cooked, like a mush.
No, that's how beans are to me, mush. It just I don't like the texture.
It's a texture thing.
I don't. Yes,
yeah.
I don't like the taste of them, but I will. I will put pork and bean juice on my macaroni and cheese.
Interesting. I don't think I knew that about you.
Yeah. But I will not eat the beans. I just gotta drain the juice onto my macaroni and cheese.
Now, will you eat macaroni and cheese without?
Yes.
But do you prefer?
I prefer it with.
Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Well,
I never knew that about you. Little fun fact.
Fun fact. Or weird fact or whatever.
I know there's always those things where you find out about people and you're like, really?
Really? I didn't know that. I've known you for,
how long?
30-some years, and I didn't know that.
No. Well, that's, Well, I knew you didn't like the beans. So I was actually a thought about you because we had a fundraiser for the chamber, and when I looked at the refried beans, I just started laughing. I giggled because I thought of you. It was like, oh, Lana would be not eating this. They were good though. But if you don't like beans,
no,
then you're not gonna want a slap of refried beans. They look,
shit.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, cat poo. Oh, why would anybody want to eat that?
Oh, it's so good.
Everybody likes it in my family, but
not you.
Not me.
So so school lunch I did like, and I always remember my parents and my brother, we would always do this thing at dinner. We would sit at the table and eat dinner. I know that's probably like a foreign concept now,
anymore.
But like we used to do that quite often actually, where you had to sit at the table and eat. But we would always play a game like, what did I eat for lunch?
Oh, yeah.
So we would always say, like, whatever was offered that day, if it was pizza, salad bar, or whatever. And we would we'd say that. We would say, did I have fruit cocktail or peaches?
Yes, fruit cocktail.
Yes. I used to love fruit cocktail. Yeah. We would even say like the white, even though our parents always knew they were going to know this one, white milk or chocolate milk. We always had the chocolate milk, but
I always had white. I don't
Did
like
you?
This.
I don't remember that either.
No. I didn't even like milk. Sometimes I wouldn't even drink it. I think I would give it to somebody. I'm like, who wants this milk? Because you're only allowed one milk a person. I think.
And those were really small.
There were cartons, yeah.
I remember like some days that they would for some reason they would let you have more than one, and now as an adult I'm thinking it's probably because they were going to expire.
Yes.
And so they were like, oh, we'll
give these
Happy
kids
Friday extra milk.
Do you remember on Fridays when they would come around with the cheese?
Yes.
And the raisins. Oh, the raisins nasty. Raisins and peanuts. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you couldn't do that now. Everybody has a peanut allergy, but like back then people probably did have a peanut allergy and they didn't understand
we didn't know what was
happening
to them. We were eating the school peanuts.
Yes.
I mean, I don't even remember when we had peanuts at school except for those days.
Yes, and it would always be in our classroom.
Yes,
they would
always
around
come in
with
a tray.
Yes,
they'd push a tray and they'd have cheese.
It was like 1980s charcuterie board.
Yeah. Except it's on a school lunch tray.
Yeah, it wasn't fancy.
No, it wasn't fancy, and it was just cheese.
And I'm like, we didn't have like government. You think it was like a big? Because it was like they were like pretty big.
They were
blocks of cheese. I don't know if it was government cheese per se, but it was probably something that schools
like that. The schools received.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like most of our lunches though were cooked. Like most of them, they weren't like, they were like homemade.
They were homemade,
food.
yes. They weren't like pre-made things.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Yeah, I totally remember that cheese. I used to love that day, too.
Oh,
I'd be
yeah.
like, oh, yeah, give me that cheese. I know you don't like the raisins, but
no. And the raisins and peanuts were mixed. So if you wanted peanuts, you had to take the raisins.
Right.
And so I would just pick them out because we had those paper towels we had to get. And then I'd pick out the raisins.
Yes.
And I do have a story about the cheese. I think it was in 2nd grade, so that would have been like 1985.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And we didn't know, but we would have our desks in my 2nd grade class. We would have our desks, every so often we'd switch. Like we'd be in a pod or something like that. So on the last day of school, my pod, we were together and everything. We're cleaning at our desks.
Okay.
And there was this boy, and he had shoved cheese in his pencil holder, which was a rocket.
Oh.
Yes. And he opened it up, and it stunk so bad, and he threw up.
Oh,
and
my
it was
gosh.
nasty. I mean,
so it was in his pencil holder
shaped as a rocket,
and he had like never opened it.
No, like it was to shove cheese in it. Sure, he opened it. I don't know why it smelled so bad then, but yes,
because the fact that he had been doing that, obviously he had opened it to add more cheese.
Right, and why would you save the cheese?
Did he not want to eat it?
I don't know.
And he said like, yeah, I'll eat it because he didn't want to get in trouble or something. And then he was like, I don't want this cheese.
I don't know. I don't know what his deal was, but I do remember that. I don't remember too much about school. But I do remember him doing that, yeah.
So did anyone else throw up because he threw up?
I don't believe so.
Well, that's good. It wasn't like a domino effect.
We have a friend right now that we still talk to. She was in my pod.
Okay.
So she might know.
Yeah. We'll have to have some of these other friends that are around here, or even we could try to get something where we could even get phone a friend, have them on, because I think they'd have some good stories too that we might be forgetting about. I don't remember anyone throwing up. I feel like I remember. Well, I do remember.
I had the throw up kids in my class.
I do remember one girl, and I don't even remember what grade we were in, and she had her hand raised because she needed to go because she was gonna be sick, and she started to go. I don't even know if the teacher told her she could go or if she just started to go. I feel like since it was this particular girl, feel like she waited, but she was going like this, like put her hand over her mouth. And as she was going, you could see it like it was like leaking out of her fingers, and it was white. I can still remember that. You know how you can just remember? Like weird things like,
yes,
I think it's
stuck
because
in your mind.
Yes, it was so
smells.
Yes. And she didn't make it to the bathroom. She made it to the hall.
Oh
yeah.
Well, obviously she didn't make it too far if you saw it.
Right.
Because it was oozing out of her fingers.
Out. Yeah. Poor girl.
Yeah. I had a girl in one of I think it might have been 4th grade, who was running out to throw up and totally did not make it. Almost out the door, hit the wall. And you just hear that noise.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I don't know if kids puke as much as they did.
I
don't know. I never hear about that either.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't know. I never had to run out of the class.
I never had to either.
I did.
I don't think I ever went homesick. Like, I don't think I was ever at school and I got sick.
Oh,
with
really?
Either a fever or anything. I don't think I ever.
I feel like I always had stomach aches. I think it's because I don't know if I was just nervous. Because I'm a nervous adult. I feel like I was probably a nervous kid. And they didn't know what it was, because I feel like I always had stomach aches. Yeah, I do remember. I don't even know what grade we were in, but totally I do remember. I did not throw up in front of anyone, but I did pee my pants. And I know that you like to remind me of that story.
I do. I remember that one is like a burnt in my brain image, because it was either kindergarten, 1st or 2nd grade, because you were holding the doors open.
Yes, and
we had a dress on.
And yes, and we were in that we were
the
at
playground
that playground
area.
where the kindergartners played.
I want to say it was well, no, first grade. I think it was first grade.
Yeah, it couldn't have been kindergarten.
It couldn't have been kindergarten because we weren't together in kindergarten.
Right.
But I remember you had this dress on. You had tights.
Yes, because it was the 80s.
Yep. And you stood there with the door open and peed. And we're all like, oh, what is she doing? And we always said, open sesame.
Oh, yeah, we did.
And you stood there, open sesame, with peed.
And I feel like I don't really, I remember doing it. I don't really remember the circumstance of like, why did I stand there and pee my pants? But I can probably guess it's because I always had like FOMO, where I was a fear of missing out, even before it was like cool to say FOMO.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't even
know what FOMO is.
It's fear of missing out.
So I now learned something.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. I could kind of tell when I said it. You were like, I could see it on your like, what the heck are you talking about? I'm
not hip, I guess.
Well,
I am a grandma.
You are a grandma. Since I work up at the school every once in a while, I have to try to be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Or not really, but I hear how, what the kids say.
Yes, you hear the new lingo.
Right. And I'm sure FOMO is not even a thing anymore. Like, if I said that to a
5
kid.
Years ago it was.
Yeah. And I'm just finally figuring out how to use it.
I'm going to say it. People are going to look at me like, what? That was so 5 years ago.
Yes.
Do people still talk like that?
I don't know. I feel like you probably would like put that in a text.
Maybe.
I don't know. Texting, we did not have that. We didn't have phones. Well, cell phones. We had phones.
We had home phones.
Home phones that were connected to the wall.
Yes.
Till we got older. And we'll talk a little more about that in a different episode. Because probably again, since we were related and went to a small school, we were around each other all of growing up. Mm-hmm. But I feel like middle school was when we like really.
Right. That was going to school all day long.
Right.
With each other. Then coming home at night and getting on the phone.
Yes.
And talking all night.
Yes.
Because my sister she was 5 years older than me, and I always got the phone, and she always complained.
That's hilarious.
Because I wouldn't let her on
it. See, since I had an older brother, boys didn't talk on the phone.
Right.
So I didn't have to really worry about sharing the phone.
But I do remember getting on phones when somebody else was on them and having to put your finger on, you lifted up the receiver very slowly, and then you stuck your finger on the, I don't know what what kind of button it was, like when you hang up.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
The lever thing that you hang up with, and listening to people's conversations.
Oh, I totally remember
and
that
then
too.
if you weren't good enough, it would click, and then they would know that you were on there. And my sister used to get mad because I used to sit there and listen, and then I'd go tell my mom everything, that I heard. So.
Right. Well, I feel like that would be great for our second episode.
Yes.
Let's talk about our phone calls.
I think so too. Thanks for listening to our first episode.
Yeah, it was great to talk about all of this. And if you relate to small town Gen X, definitely comment. You can comment.
Yeah, drop us a line.
Yeah, we would love to hear from you and hear, if you have a fun little life story.
Right.